Hello there everybody, Sam's Trains here, welcome back to the railway and welcome to the final model railway news video of 2024. I think this year in model railways has just been crazy, hasn't it? The number of new announcements, the number of new models that have been released, the amount of development within this industry has just been mind-blowing this year, and I've had many of these news videos that used to take less than 10 minutes ballooning to 20 minutes plus this year just because of the sheer volume of new material that's out there. So here we are for one final episode. Thank you all so much for tuning into these videos over 2024. Let's have one last one then, and we're going to start with Hornby because new announcements from Hornby these days, at least in 00, are pretty few and far between, especially Steam announcements, I suppose. But there was a new one recently, and I have talked about this briefly in previous videos, but just in case you only watch the news, here we go, let's talk about it now. So they have announced an all-new Great Northern Class J13, also known as the LNER Class J52. They've announced 3 different versions initially. We've got the Great Northern Green, which is the exciting one, I think, and then there's a couple of black liveries, the BR Black and the LNER Black, so catering to 3 different eras here. It's a little bit hard to get a good sense of the specs of the model, and I think the best information comes from the samples that Hornby showed at the NEC this November. Yeah, you can get a sense of what these models are like. Obviously they are past the tooling stage now, and the detail looks great. What the exact features of these models are going to be though is a little bit unclear at the moment. Here are the specs on Hornby's website though. You can see these are going to be DCC ready with 21-pin DCC sockets. They're going to be running on 5-pole skew-wound motors, which is good. They will have sprung buffers, a feature I enjoy. They will have NEM couplings as well and space for the HM7000 sound decoder, so presumably a new sound profile will be coming for this loco at some point as well. Now at the moment on Hornby's website these are due into stock during the summer of 2025, so that's not all that long to wait, and the full RRP is £174.99 and they're pre-orderable from the retailers for around £157, that's the typical sort of price. That is, however, over £17 more expensive than Rapido's J13 that they announced. So that begs the question, what is the Hornby model going to have that Rapido's doesn't to justify that extra price? Is it going to have additional features? I'd be interested to know the answer to that. Anyway, presumably in anticipation of comments about more product duplication, Hornby and Rapido actually got together on this one, according to these posts on social media, to say that they're both fine with the product duplication in this case, because both companies were already working on this loco at the same time, and that it was too late to cancel either of them by the time both companies found out about it. What they have said though is that they've worked together to ensure both companies don't produce the same running numbers, thus avoiding any direct product duplication. Now in the past I've been given to understand that rival manufacturers actually legally can't talk to each other behind closed doors and work together to avoid duplication, because that would be considered collusion or anti-competitive activity. And in fact, here on the government website there is a section under anti-competitive activity that states you cannot agree with other businesses to share markets or customers. You'll be breaking competition law if you agree with other businesses, and the example I think that applies here is not to compete with them for customers. So, is Hornby and Rapido working together and agreeing not to produce the same variants as each other considered market sharing? Well, I'm not a legal expert, so I won't comment on that, but I think if it was me in this position, I don't think I would have risked it, personally. And would Hornby have been able to charge this much for their J13 if they'd not worked together with Rapido to ensure that both companies were producing different variants? Perhaps Hornby would have had to have competed with Rapido on price had the two companies chosen to produce the same versions of the model. It's certainly food for thought, isn't it? More food for thought is this. What will other manufacturers think now that they've seen Hornby approach Rapido and agree not to duplicate their products when Hornby might not have extended the same courtesy to them? For example, on the same day that Hornby announced the J13, where they'd worked with Rapido not to duplicate theirs, they also announced a new run of 4 Class 60 models, 2 of which had already been announced by Cavalex. That's 60029 Ben Nevis and 60081 Isambard Kingdom Brunel. So the big question, I suppose, is why has Hornby agreed not to duplicate Rapido's products, but not Cavalex's, and is that entirely fair? I do think it's a nice thing, don't get me wrong, that manufacturers are actively looking to avoid stepping on each other's toes, but I do think this should be done fairly. I think it should be done consistently and also with a great deal of caution, just in case it is considered to be collusion or anti-competitive activity. Nevertheless, it is a very interesting situation. I will be curious to see what the differences are between the two models, and of course which one turns out to be the best. Another piece of big news this month comes from Accurascale, because they've also announced a new 060 tank engine, but you'll be glad to hear it's not yet another J13. No, instead it is this. It is the Hunslet Austerity saddle tank, and Accurascale are producing a large tooling suite that covers most of the modifications since the introduction of the engines. And this is extremely good news for those of us, including me, who were left extremely dissatisfied by the frankly very poor EFE rail or DJM austerity that was all over the place a few years ago. Right now they've announced 6 different versions initially, all in different colours too, which is interesting. So they've got this, the United Steel Maroon, they've got the classic BR Black, 3 different NCB liveries, like I say, in different colours, and an LNER version, not in black or perhaps an apple green or something unusual like that, but in desert sand livery, as a bit of a callback to its time with the War Department. So that's an interesting choice, isn't it? Spec-wise, these models are set to weigh nearly 250 grams, and I was lucky enough to hold one of these samples in my hands at the exhibition, and let me tell you, this thing is extremely weighty. It feels like it's going to be a very high quality model. Other specs include a coreless motor with a flywheel, which I like to see. It's going to have stay-alive capacitors pre-fitted, twin speakers as well for quality sound. It is going to have firebox flicker effects in the firebox. It's going to have a magnetically removable smoke box door for easy DCC chipping. That seems like a smart feature. Also etched name and works plates where applicable, and like I've already mentioned, based on these samples, mostly die-cast construction. You can see here actually that all of the parts in black apparently are made from metal, and like I say, it does feel extremely weighty in the hands. So the price for these DCC ready is £149.95, so about £20 less than their sort of big diesel locos, which I think seems very fair, especially considering that this is going to be a very high spec model. And at the retailers it's going to cost the same because Accurascale don't faff around with phony RRPs. So £149.95. They're available to pre-order now, and I've popped affiliate links down in the description for you. The next update then comes from Dapol, and this is quite an unusual one because it's just come to my attention that they produce a rather intriguing range of products, namely replica builder's plates. Now apparently they did this for their Hawthorne Leslie locos, and now they've announced more to go with their O-gauge Hunslets. And the range includes keyrings at £4.99 each at the retailers. They also do 1/3 size replica builder's plates at £7.50 each at the retailers. I think that sounds very fair. And of course the coolest, they also do full-sized replicas at £50 a piece. How interesting is that? Now these are made in England as well. They're made at Dapol's facility in Chirk, but I did notice looking at the listings that they are just made from plastic. Now I think the smaller, cheaper ones, that seems fine, but at £50 for the full-size plate, I would say that seems a little bit on the pricey side. I suppose they are quite large though. I mean, the full-sized one they say is approximately 330mm across, so what's that, about 33 centimeters? It's about that sort of size, so they're not small things by any means, but yeah, anyway, I thought you'd find that interesting. And I suppose it is quite interesting because this is Dapol producing something that you can't put on your layout. It's just a sort of different way that they can supplement their income from the railway models. So yeah, it makes you wonder what else could be in the works, what else could manufacturers produce in this vein to supplement their income. I'd be very, very curious to see what the future holds on that. But yeah, anyway, builder's plates from Dapol. Up next then we have some news from Rapido, and as usual from Rapido there have been a couple of new announcements recently. The first one is the new range of LBSC goods vans that they designed live at the NEC exhibition. So at the moment they've announced 18 different wagons to choose from, covering various LBSC liveries. They've got some Southern Railway liveries, BR liveries too, and even some departmental liveries. Their tooling suite allows them to model all of the necessary variations, and the CAD images do show proper NEM pockets, which is good to see included. The full RRP for these vans is to be £34.95, with the typical retailer price being £29.50 as usual. Rapido also announced some new Great Eastern wagons. They're open wagons and they're made from diagram 48 and diagram 17. As usual, there's a large selection of different wagons here to choose from, ranging from pre-grouping companies such as the Great Eastern and also the Great Central, which I found interesting, and of course your later LNER and BR liveries as well. These are a little cheaper as open wagons at £32.95 RRP or £27.95 at the retailers. There's also shots from the tooling on display already, which actually shows that this project is at a pretty advanced stage at the time of announcing. The next update comes from Oxford Rail, which is exciting because they've actually announced a new product for their Oxford Rail range. Now that hasn't happened for a good while, has it? At least not a brand new tooled model. Now it's nothing crazy or major or anything like that, but it is new, and it is this. It is the Fordson Tractor Rail Shunter. Now, what on earth is going on with these? I actually had to try and Google photos of the real things to try and get my head around what is exactly going on with these, and it's still not entirely clear. But apparently these tractors were modified to work on rails because that made a much cheaper alternative to, say, buying a locomotive to use as a shunter. So we've got this very odd situation where there's a tractor with a buffer beam, and I can't really tell from these photos how they're supposed to work. Maybe these tractors didn't ride on the rails. It looks like maybe they would have driven on the sleepers instead. But either way, it's an interesting little accessory that will look pretty decent sat in a siding somewhere. Now, as you'd probably expect, it doesn't look like these models are going to be runners. It doesn't look like you can couple them up to wagons and such. Maybe you can, but it doesn't look like it from these photos, does it? But as a little bit of a bridge between the Oxford diecast and the Oxford rail range, that is a very interesting new addition. So hopefully more details will follow soon in terms of prices and exactly what versions are being produced. And as soon as I hear, I will let you know. Okay, to finish off then, I'm going to talk about some new models that are out now. The first one is from Helgen, and it is the Tango. Now, if all went to plan, I've already got the review of that model out, so if you'd like to see how that went, check the link out up there. But this is a model that has been announced for a really long time, so whether good or not, I'm not sure at this point. You will know by now probably. It is interesting and I suppose a bit of a relief that the thing has finally come out and the suspense is over. Also out now is the Rapido Jones goods. Hopefully I'm going to have a review of one of those ready soon. Again, this has been a model that's been highly anticipated. I'm really looking forward to seeing what that one's like as well. Next, in N-Gauge, the Revolution Trains Caroline inspection saloons are in stock, and looking at these photos, I absolutely cannot believe that these are N-scale. Look at all of the little details that are separately fitted on there. Yeah, I think I could have quite easily been convinced that these were 00 scale based on the level of detail. So yeah, those are ready to go now. The KR Models Bullied Leader is also in the UK now, apparently, according to this post on social media. The post said that the models are clearing customs and then should be received at their warehouse. They're now saying we should be able to deliver them, UK customers, before Christmas if Postman Pat gets a move on, which is a bit of a different message from you will have it before Christmas that we saw a couple of months ago from KR on social media. But there's certainly still hope that we will get these models before Christmas. Finally then, the Hornby Club exclusive Locomotion number 1 is now showing as in stock. Now hopefully the public release of this model will be out soon, and it might already be out by the time this video goes live, but again that is one that I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on, and I'm hoping to bring you a review of that as soon as possible. For now though, that is all of the news I've got for you today. As always, if I've missed anything out and you think it deserved a mention, please do use the comment section below to let me know, and I will consider that for the next episode. For now though, thank you so much for watching this model railway news video, and thank you for watching all of the others that I've produced this year. It is hard to believe that another year is over and done with, but it's also pretty exciting because if next year is anything like this year, then we have a lot to look forward to. So once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Alright, cheers folks, you take care.